Hey everybody, and Tony here, and before I make my Avatar The Last Airbender review, I'd like to sort of make a tribute video slash why, as told by Ginger, needs a lot more love, and really state a lot of things that really do it for me, and why I really love this show despite it being underrated or despite the fact that it may have garnered some iffy to negative reviews from some people with almost little to no rhyme or reason, and why it's not always as remembered as other shows from Nickelodeon. And don't worry, I will make the review of Avatar The Last Airbender tomorrow. Now, looking back at the show, as I've stated in my top 25 as told by Ginger episodes, the first episode that I watched was Cry Wolf, and that was when I was a young, impressionable 9-year-old boy. And from then on, when I caught that episode, I was immediately hooked into the world of Ginger Foutley and many other denizens of Sheltered Shrubs. It was very easy to say that this was my gateway episode. And then, as I've watched a lot more episodes, I started to get into the characters a lot more and even related to them, though I mostly related to the middle school characters, Ginger, Dodie, Macy, and to some extent Courtney, and to even more extents Darren and many other of the middle school characters. With Carl, I used to find him pretty gross and very much, well, someone I might end up avoiding. But he actually grew onto me, and I actually like him as a character even more as I grew up, because despite the fact that he can be gross, he can be very intelligent, very, well, interesting, and pretty much fun to watch. The same thing can be said about Hoodsy. And I would have to say that I know that I've stated this, but Lois Foutley is pretty much one of my most favorite characters in the show, mostly because she is a tough, strong, and caring mom who has to make sure that she, is there for her kids and really knows what's best for them as well. And she's become very much a role model to me. And, well, like I said, as told by Ginger, was very groundbreaking at the time because there was not a lot of cartoons that have shown cartoon characters in different clothing in different settings as well. And it's very rare to have cartoon characters that age and grow up. I mean, we also get that in Avatar The Last Airbender and even Adventure Time, that the characters do age and grow up from time to time. But in other cartoons like Hey Arnold or The Simpsons or the Rugrats and even Ren and Stimpy and CatDog, the characters still stay the same age, which I find rather sad because I guess for me, this one really does show, well, that these characters do age and time really does pass for them, and they also learn from their experiences as well. So this is pretty much a show that has made me see these characters grow and has made me see how far they've gone in their journey and has made me actually relate to them. Of course, Dodie is not my most favorite character because she doesn't really get that much development, and there are times that she can be quite a bitch. But she does have her moments of being nice. And of course, Miranda may be the huge bitch of the show because she's always scheming to get rid of Ginger. But it's sort of a necessity as well for her because she always wants Courtney's attention because she's always well known for being Courtney's right-hand woman since she's part of the popular clique. And it's also because, well, the fact that Ginger came into her life and pretty much has stolen Courtney's friendship is pretty much a detriment on her part. So she's more than just a bitchy character. She's definitely a character who's also, afraid of her position and afraid that her position might be threatened. So when I think about it, just like the characters in Hey Arnold, as told by Ginger's characters definitely have a lot of interesting stories, and they're basically characters I can write a book about. Especially with Ginger. I mean, I find her very interesting. I mean, yes, she's also a flawed character, but I think that that's just pretty much it. That's what makes her really human. That's what makes her relatable. And that's what makes her also a role model to me because yeah, it also shows me that I can relate to her. I can relate to the flaws that she has. I can relate to the fact that, yeah, she once upon a time started out wanting to be popular, but then she's found out things that have made her happy and has actually pursued those and actually follows her dreams. Yes, there are a lot of uncertainties, but life is like that. And as Told by Ginger really represents that really well. It doesn't matter if you are a tween or a teen or even if you're an adult. I think that everyone can learn from As Told by Ginger. In fact, I've had that one experience when I was in the 7th grade and we had an outdoor educational tour in which I was talking to one of the teachers from this school called Faith Academy, and she said that she also loves As Told by Ginger very much because the characters are very much good role models, especially Lois Foutley. I mean, both of us agreed that Lois Foutley was pretty much one of the best characters in the show because she really knew how to lay the law for her children and she really knew how to be a good mother to them and to really support them through thick and thin. And she definitely has a very tough and very firm and also a very kind way of really handling well with her children, especially when they go through really rough times, especially if Ginger goes through a very rough time. She's constantly assuring Ginger that sometimes in life you can't always worry about things too much. You can't always worry about the future too much. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just live through the present. And that's what As Told by Ginger really taught me. And it's also kind of sad that this show isn't as well loved or as popular as many of the other Nickelodeon shows. When people usually talk about Nickelodeon shows that they really love or they think it's popular, names like SpongeBob SquarePants or Fairly Odd Parents would come out. And not a lot of people would talk about As Told by Ginger, which I kind of find, very sad. Which I find very sad, really. And I kind of think that it probably deserves to be a household name. Currently, it does have a cult following of people who've watched this show, including me, and who've really defended this show and really loved this show for what it really is. It's more than just a slice of life show, but it's a coming of age story of Ginger and all the people around her and how they grow, develop, and how they mature as people and the lessons that they learn day to day. And even though for some people this show can be a bit melodramatic, its messages are still there that these people are here to learn life lessons and they're basically reflected into us of how we learn lessons every day, whether it's about life or love, disappointment, depression, or even the various heavy stuff that we go through in life. It's always nice to see these characters just simply fight through that and even hope that they can really win. It's like we want to keep rooting for these characters, especially Ginger. When when Darren and Ginger broke up, we understand the pain that she's felt because, well, when you think about it, Darren and Ginger started out as childhood friends and were next door neighbors, and they practically grew up with each other and really saw each other as best friends. And here they were being boyfriend and girlfriend, only to realize that, well, Darren had other aspirations and Ginger also had other aspirations. And there weren't really a couple that ended up being in the fairy tale route. They were a very realistic couple. They started out as childhood friends who thought that they may not be something like that's for them, but as soon as the episodes progress and as they grow up a lot more, they start to realize that they have feelings for each other, genuine feelings for each other. And that's what I truly love about the show. its ability to develop each and every character, no matter how big or small they are, and that's why I always say that it's almost like a sister series to Hey Arnold. It's just that I kind of feel sorry that this show doesn't have the popularity that it really deserves, even though it has such a huge cult following with people really willing to defend this show. And I guess that's why people defend the show a lot, because even though there are people that didn't really like the show for one reason or the other, there were people that really love it because it's very down to earth and it very much speaks well to them. And it has really spoken well to me growing up, aside from shows like Hey Arnold and Avatar The Last Airbender, and even Rugrats. I felt that As Told by Ginger really spoke to me, and I really have to say that this was also the standard of how tween shows or how cartoons aimed at teenagers or adults really should be. Down to earth, extremely well written, and have really lovable and relatable characters. And As Told by Ginger really did that for me with flying colors. Well, that's all for now. Tune in tomorrow as I review Avatar The Last Airbender. So until then, good night, everybody.